people live National Bureau of Statistics after the 2024 population census. It is indeed in order for Uganda to always join the rest of the world to commemorate the International Albinism Awareness Day that usually falls on June the 13th. And during the last celebrations that happened at Mukono District Headquarters, there were so many calls that were made, including intense and awareness as well as inclusivity, and we also had a call about increasing the number of dermatologists in Ugandan healthcare centers, where right now they stand at only 20 in number, and that is quite unbelievable. So today in studio we have a person living with the albinism condition as well as a dermatologist, and we are going to be hearing from these people. Feel free to go to our social media and be able to engage with us. A very good morning to you and welcome. I am Viola Sasia. This is NTV Medical Matters, supported by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. You are watching NTV Medical Matters. I am Viola Sasia, and today we are in Entebbe, where we are shedding light on albinism, a genetic skin condition that leads to a bad impact on the production of melanin, and that leaves one exposed to a lot of scorching sun. That is because of a lack of the pigmentation in their skin, the hair, as well as the eyes. We are meeting a mother and her child that has got albinism, and we shall be talking to them about their day-to-day life and what it takes for the mother to care for this child. So let's go and meet the mother. Kati Teddy tusanyiza okulaba kati sokele ku mwana Shalom. Shalom ono mwana wangeri ki?
Shalom mu Luzungu mpira bamuyita albino, naye ffe mu Luganda twakula bamuyita mwana Namagoye. Mwana Namagoye kuba olwakala tafaanana banne.
Osobola omwogerako ki like character empisa ze byagala byatagala like that?
Nze omwana ono bukyanga muzaala kyakati yandibadde wanjawulo nnyo nabaddugavu, ndaba ekyamanyi ekiringa ekimwawula nti yeesiga ebizigo byanjawulo n'obutabeera mu musana n'okuba nti kala byebintu ebiringa ebimwawula ku baddugavu.
Kati
problem endala gy'alina ekyenjawulo ky'alina albino ate ng'alina ne sickle cell. So awo we nasinga osanga ekizibu ekinene ng'ebintu bibiri biri ku muntu omu.
Taking care of her. Okosebwa ota challenges ofunye ziliwa?
Obuzibu bwe nsinze nnyo sanga mukyala omwono. Kulwala ennyo. Okulwala ennyo. Ebizigo bye. Nze kuba Shalomu nga tandise okufuna ku bizigo byabwe nga maze kujja Entebbe. Kuba si gye twaliko eyo mu kyalo. Naye we yali nga talina bizigo byabwe nga Bashalomu. Ng'omusana gumuyitako bwe guti ng'ayubuka n'abanga omanyi omusota oba ng'eki ng'avaako omutu ng'akaveera ka white. Yes. Kati yatandika okufunayoko ku bizigo, waliwo banne, waliwo ekitongole ky'Abannamagoye batufunirangayoko ku bizigo. Nsobola okuba nga natandika okuba nga musigasigako kati ekyansumbuwa nnyo. Kozi mu kulwalako akyalwala, kozi kiri mu musaayi oba muddugavu oba mweru waakyantawaanya.
Kati olaba reaction ki okuva mu baana bane wanne waka ate ne ku ssomero? Report jakuwa nti oba mpisa bwe bati oba bangambye kino nekiri like biri bitya?
Tewali nnyo mpozi okubeera mu banne nga yeerabanga ow'enjawulo. Ate ekirala kyemulabyeko nga mukuze ekimunyiiza mwana munne kumuyita Namagoye. Kimunyiiriza ddala ajja akaaba, maama oli omwana mpise Namagoye. Kati abadde yakyusa essomero naye nga wasomera badde sinadifunamu nnyo buzibu. Kozi oba olina osaba Katonda nakuyambayo ekintu kimu, singa kusomera okwafunako omusomesa amubacking oba osobola okitegeera amufaako. So kati ssomero gyasomera obudde buno amuyinayo, at least wafuna ekimunyiiza ticha weyane Tisha Brenda buli kaseera Tisha Brenda kino amanyi n'okungamba ye teyalidde kawunga bamuwadde ku mmere Tisha Brenda we. So Tisha omba mpulira nga ndi happy nga nange wafuwala biseera omuntu ayagala omwana wange. bampulira bulungi bamanya anything in case of anything ayina omusomesa ajaddukira so kimukosa nnyo singa abeera mu society nga tewali muntu gwalaba nti onafaayo ku lwange era ebiseera ebisinga bwe kyabangawo oba abanene bamukubiriza alwala wajja waka neyekubagiza nayingira mu buli neyeebaka azuuka mulwadde naye bwabeera nga banne balimu ali happy n'okusomera nga abeera happy talwalalwala mpolampola wetutyo wetubeera mpolampola ne Shalom.
Ate bano abaana b'ewaka
banne engeri gye bakuze nga bamulaba balyoke naye balyoke naye tebamuvuma tebamutya yes balyoke naye.
Okay. Ate wano community
mu community mama w'omwana Namago yebazi mama Shalom ze nyina soko okulaga abantu mu kitundu omwana wange ono kyakola ki kyali singa mbalaga mu kitundu simwagala tebamwagala naye singa mbalaga nti nno Shalom is my life omuntu yenna aba atya omugamba ekigambo nga mpulira atya omusosola mugatta mu banne ne community jamugatta mu banne abazadde abasinga ndowooza baddira abaana ne babatiitiibya nnyo ne babatamya abaddugavu otumanyi kasita omwana omutamya abantu oyo omwana wagundye takoonwako tagambwako ebyo bityo kati omwana wange ono engeri yamukuziza ng'ali nnomo mu mbeera yonna tukulidde mu bantu bwekityo bwekiri.
Ate amaaso ge gali gatya?
Amaaso ge emunye eyaka omutwala ku kifaananyi kino ebifaananyi nga byetwekubisa owa kamera oba aba alina kukola atya oba olina muteeka mu nzikiza kozi omufotola aba oti nga wofotola abala nowamya nenjuba eba egenda kwaka mu kamerayo.
Ndaba kwata mu maaso
Shalom omusana mungi gumukosa waba talina nkofiira omusanga waniseko bati emikono ayagala okulaba nze n'okuba kitunga kiraba naye nga takiraba gaba gatambula bagatenga gazinazina bwali bwati n'omugamba ndeetera kino ate bwava ebweru mu musana omungi nayingira mu nnyumba awo totawana kumutuma kuba ojja kusulawo ajja tukayo mu nnyumba nga talaba kyomutumya atuuka eyo abeereeyo nga gomanyi oba nga takiraba bulabi naye nga kumbe yatuuseyo nga tatekiraba natagaba amanyi ngambe sikiraba ne ku blackboard nakizudde nga nako talabako bulungi banze nyina wano omwana gwasoma naye nkwata ekitabo kya Shalom kirasi yemu n'omwana omuddugavu nengenda mu kitabo ky'omwana oli nga Shalom byewandiise tugeze ekigambo gaalo ayabuusewo oba ara yataddewo ennyukuta kyendala ate ng'ekyoli omwana kyateredde kati bwe mba njagala omulagirira kuwaako oyo nkozesa kitabo kya mwana oli nemanya sentensi yabadde etya so nemutereza nemunyamaga nemugamba waki toyogera batolinaaki batolaba alina gago nayinza okuba taziteekako.
Skin challenges Shalom zafuna mono condition ate ne was managing like solutions
okumanaging ono omwana balina okuba ne screen waabwe oba ye screen ebizigo byabwe sunscreen babiyita sunscreen so bweba tebirina at least lwana okulaba nga omwambaza olugoye lw'emikono emiwanvu empale emikono miwanvu saati mikono miwanvu wakati nze Shalom ne uniform mikono miwanvu n'empale empanvu banne balina nyimpi kati babbe tebeebuuza lwaki ffe Shalom yalina mpanvu kati ekyo kimuyambako omusana guno butamutuukirako direct Shalom aba ava ewaka empala y'essomero mpanvu jukira wansi mulimu stocks mulimu engatto ayambalisa ku mikono miwanvu asaako enkofiira nze siina sente zemukosa naye abantu bangamba mukuumye ntya sisobola mugaana kuzannya Shalom azannya neyeerabira n'okulaba nti nooleo waliyo okunaaba kati ekinyamba ngoye ngula mpanvu
ate ngeri Kampala gyeli like wali ebbugumu ate ng'omutali mu biwanvu tebimwokya sirabanga nga bimwokeza okujjako waliwo obuntu obubakuba ku sikini bobulaka bulinoma buli obaala bina abaana abo abasinga bendabyeko bubaako bubanga
totitoti bwira naye si bungi buli mutandikiriza mukubayo bati ku mubiri naye nze ngamba problem si eyo nti yakwambala biwanvu naye nga waba azanyidde mu musana ng'azanyidde mu musana nga talina oba nkofiira oba nga tayambadde engoye mpanvu amyuka alungula tekira kulungula mu Luganda alungula nabanga wa redi kano gonna amatu ne galungula kuno konna ku maaso ne kulungula alungula.
We are here in Entebbe still talking to Teddy, a mother to Shalom, who's got the albinism skin condition. It's rare, but it's very, very critical on the person that is suffering from it because exposure to the sun and several other things can really impact someone's life. So, Teddy, ekisembayo katwogere ku message joina ku bazadde ne government abalabira abaana nga Shalom.
Kyensobola bagamba tebeekubagiza kubanga tuli bangi abalina abaana bashalomwe kazi nange nalinga nakamuzaala nalowooza ndi nzekka tebeekubagiza baagala abaana baabwe babalabirire bano abaana bagezi bano abaana bali nnomo bano abaana banditaze okusoma eri ayinza omugamba kati oyo yensomesa waaki betaaga okusoma kaba ngeri gyali bwati mu ndabikayo tajjasobola kugenda mu Kampala kutambuza migugu kubanga omusana gumukosa just muwa okusoma niwaba afunye watudde nga ku bizinesi ngaawo asobole okukola bizinesi eyo.
That is Teddy, Shalom's mom, here in Entebbe. We've been talking about albinism, creating awareness, and we hope that you can get more information from here as we head to the studio to talk more about it. Shalom's case is one of those cases out there. I'm sure you've met a child like that in the community, but truly what causes that skin condition, what is going on, and how best can we help as members of the society. My name is Viola Sasha. Once again, you're welcome. It's NTV Medical Matters. We are supported by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and we are really happy to have you here. In studio today, we are lucky to be joined by Peter Ogik, who is the Executive Director, source of the Nile Union of Persons with Albinism. We also have Richard Ainomudisha, who is a medical dermatologist at Merchant Bay Hospital. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us today.
Thank you, and good morning to the viewers.
Yes.
Thank you for hosting us, and good morning, dear viewers.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So let's start with you, Peter.
Yeah.
You looked at Shalom's story.
Yes.
So the question is, how does Shalom's story remind you of your own life being a child and growing up in a similar way?
To be honestly, when I was watching the story, even I was trying to share to people with her here in the studio, say, wow, this gives me the memories of my childhood, whereby I was the first one to be born with this condition in my fishing community in Jinja City. And no one knew this condition. Even my parents didn't know more about the condition. So I was like, my mom told me by the way that people really didn't understand the condition, and by that they used to speak a lot of word, asking maybe what caused this, what caused that, and some other people started distancing themselves from the family. And personally then, and with that, she didn't know even how better to take care of me, because it was her first time also to see a child with albinism. Even my dad was the first time to see a child with albinism. So they didn't have that much knowledge on how to support a child with like me. I remember my mom telling me that one day he went to the garden and placed me under the banana plantation, but as he was digging, the sun changed the shade, so he came back when the sun has really hit me, and I became reddish. So that's when they came to understand, oh, the sun really would cause me a lot of damages. And from there, they started to do what they can to give me some clothing that would protect me to go to school, not to cover me from the sun. And when we went to school, just as Shalom was sharing, we persons with albinism, our sight is very poor. We are short-sighted. We don't see things which are very far. And unfortunately for me, my teachers even never knew what to be done to support me. And since other children were not willing to sit close to me, teacher thought that maybe the way to support me was to put me behind the class. And with that really made me to perform very poorly, because it was very hard for me to say everything which was written on the chalkboard.
Yes.
So whenever he came and, whenever I remember one day he chased me out of the class with a big cane, and I ran out of the class to my dad saying, "That teacher is beating me because I didn't hand it in my work."
Yeah.
And it was hard for me because I wasn't saying things on the chalkboard. So my dad held my hand and we went to school, and he spoke to teachers how better to support me.
Yes.
And they started placing me in front of the classroom, and that's when I started gaining. So really this is what many other people go through. I just imagine if my dad wasn't bold enough to come and, support me to speak to the teachers. Imagine, I think I would have not got this opportunity even to study.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Peter, for summarizing your story that quickly, because of course we would be intrigued what happened then at school, what then happened, because it sounded like there wasn't enough information about the condition at the time.
Yeah.
So that takes me now to Richard, who is a specialist. He's a medical skin specialist, which then helps us get to ask you the questions we have, me and the audience. So what is albinism? What causes it? Where does it come from? And can it be avoided?
Thank you, Sasera. Albinism is a skin condition that one is born with, and it happens when the child is still pregnant. When the mother is still pregnant.
Yes, please.
And the cause is because of the genetic factors that are intertwined from the mother and the father. So there is what we call a recessive gene for skin color. In simple ways, I can say when there is formation, the skin is being formed while the child is in the uterus. There are some genes which are mutated. So we call them thyroxine enzymes, so they are mutated. So in the long run, one of the colors for the eyes is not formed because of some enzyme, and then for the skin as well. So the albinism we see in Uganda and in Africa, it's where we have two gene mutations that affect the color that bring black color to the eye and the skin. So that's how a child is born with albinism. You went ahead to ask that. Okay, before that is that there are about 25 chances of all children produced from those parents to have albinism, for those who have those genetics. That is the mother and the father. If, let's say, the father has any recessive gene and the mother doesn't have, chances are less, okay? On prevention is that in Africa, we don't do genetic testing to find out if someone has a gene for albinism. So we advise that you look in the background. If you find that in your family you have someone with albinism, then it is very important to also ask the partner about their history of albinism, so that you lower chances of having children with albinism. Because I found out that in the laboratories in Uganda, because I had to ask some for this talk show, they don't do those genetic testing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I believe in the audience right now there must be people that are questioning the possibility of two black parents having a child that has albinism. Could you please explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the possibilities of black parents bearing a child with albinism are that one has the recessive gene. I don't know how to put it in the simple language, but that is one of the genes for skin color is a bit affected, but not obvious. And that is in both parents. So when they bear a child or pregnancy, then those weak genes which bear the skin color, they combine. Then it means they manifest more as in form of albinism. Then some children will not. 25% will have albinism. Then 25 will be carriers and 50 will be normal children.
Let's flip it now and look at two people with albinism marrying each other. Is there a chance of having a child with normal skin?
It's not likely. We've had a person living with albinism marrying a person living with albinism. Chances are at 100% that they are going to have children with albinism. So we got a case in one of the countries, not here, where they came up, but the prophets had to pray it around, but for them they were saying they were prayers, but for sure it was not true. Okay, so what are the types? I heard you mention something of albinism in Uganda here. What about what are they? In Uganda and in East Africa and I think West Africa, we have what we call ocular albinism. Ocular albinism only affects the eyes. And we've not seen some cases, maybe they may be there. It affects the eyes, and that means the eye has less or has no melanin, that is the skin color, the black skin color. And the skin has the skin color. That is not common. Then we have what we call ocular cutaneous albinism, where it affects the eyes and the skin. That means they have reduced or no skin pigment, that is melanin. And we have also, they are broken down, the OCA, what we call ocular cutaneous albinism. We have type 1, which is seen more in Europe, OCA 2, which is here, then in East Africa and West Africa, then OCA 3, we call it rufus, that is in South Africa. And then they go up to 8, the number of them. But the distinction is about the skin appearance, how they change over time from when they are born up to around maybe adolescence, how on exposure to the sun, how does the skin change and the hair. Because some are born with some pigment, so as they grow, you find some hair turning into black a bit. Then you find that also they are developing some black spots as on exposure to the sun. Yes. There is something interesting that I would love to ask you, and that is, can an ultrasound be able to determine that this child has albinism before birth? And if that happens, is there a possibility to reverse it? I'm not sure about the ultrasound scan, because ultrasound scans, most of the time they take deformities. That is what we call morphological deformities in the child. Morphological means like, I don't have the lip, I don't have a nose, or maybe the heartbeat of the child has issues. They always do that. But a pregnancy where there is albinism, the child is growing normally. The issue about skin color. So there is less likelihood that the scan will do that. Okay. Yes. All right then. So Peter, at what point did you and your caretaker or parent reach out to the health services?
That's a great question, and I think to be honest, though that they went on understanding some of the challenges along the way. Personally, to know the medical, maybe to meet the skin specialist or dermatologist was on about 15 years. So this means that my parents used to do in their own way to make sure that I'm protected, because I'm protected from the sun. After realizing, just as I gave you the example, that when they placed me under the banana plantation, and when the sun hit me.
What age was that?
It was around, my mom told me I was around 2 years there when he was in the garden, when she was in the garden. So that's when he discovered that, oh, I think my child doesn't need the sun, and from there and then it started to limit me to be in the sun, because whenever I would go and play with others, you find that I become reddish, and from there I started putting on the hat and playing under the shade. But later, when in fact I was in my senior one, I came to know a skin specialist and introduced me to sunscreen lotions. And he went ahead teaching me when should I put it, depend the level of the sunscreen lotion, because we do have different levels. Like the one which I'm having here is SPF 50. So this means that SPF 50, it protects my skin 50 times than without. If it's SPF 30, that means to protect me 30 times. Yeah. So that's when I went on understanding that, oh, this is how better I need to protect myself. I went ahead to emphasize me to put on the wide-brimmed hat, to put on the long-sleeved clothing. And as I speak now, it's very hard to get my picture without the hat on. I think those who have stayed with me would be wondering. I don't put my hat on. Maybe when I'm putting maybe the passport photo or something like that.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So Peter, we shall come back to that point. It's become your signature, and we shall be returning to our skin specialist. But for now, we shall go for a short break. And if you're just joining us, it's the NTV Medical Matters, supported by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We are having a discussion on albinism. Let's return shortly. Welcome back from that break. Thank you so much for being with us. And if you're just joining us, we are talking about albinism amongst the population of Uganda as well as the rest of the world. I am Viola Xasia. It's NTV Medical Matters, and we are supported by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Today in studio, we are glad to have Peter Ogik, who is someone living with this skin condition. He is Executive Director, Source of Denial, Persons with Albinism. We also have Richard Ainomicha, who is a medical skin specialist that is Mission Bay Hospital. So we continue with that conversation, and we're going to Richard. We're going to talk about some of the complications that might arise from a child being born with this skin condition.
Thank you, Kusasera. So a child born with albinism, one, the complications are that from childhood, as Peter was saying, and Sharon, the mother of Sharon, is that the skin the sun affects their skin in the way that they don't have melanin, which protects other people from the sun rays, ultraviolet rays. So from childhood, on exposure to the sun hits them, they get what we call solar keratosis. That means the sun damages the skin. So when they're exposed without any protection, like any other person, they are prone to developing cancers from the skin damage. And that is obvious in Africa because we have the sun all day. And those cancers, they start as early as 5 years, 7 years, if there is no any protection. That is one. Then two is that their skin also becomes more, I can say, xerotic, like dry, because they don't have any protection. Then another complication is that since the eyes don't have the melanin, because one, melanin in the eyes, it helps to converge the light to make pictures or images. So in people living with albinism, their eyesight is affected. They get some conditions where they don't focus on one, and their eyes keep moving. What we call, we have what we call strabismus and stigma. So they don't focus well. So a complication in that is that if they go to school, they can't see well. And if they are to mix with others, it means they need more time to concentrate. So it makes them unable to be at the same level. They have the same level of intelligence. That is not questionable.
Yes.
But the issue is about the vision. And then another complication is about the public, especially in Africa, where people perceive it as, they perceive them as white people, and they don't appreciate it well, but though it is coming down with Peter's organizations, and they get some degree of stigma. Then another complication is that, which is not direct to the person, but from the public to them, is where some evil-minded people used to look for them for witchcraft, which is also coming down. But thanks to the government of Uganda and other governments that put laws to calm down such cultural behaviors.
Yes. Yeah. We shall be talking more about management, but first, Peter, talk to me. I saw you smiling when you mentioned that. So what has been your experience?
With experience, by the way, I think now this is a person, as a person, I try as much as to follow what the doctor is saying by putting on the wide-brimmed hat, screening my skin in case of I suspect any precancer illusion or something that may turn up into cancerous. And by the way, that's why even we started with the countrywide form of seeing how better we can prevent the cancer among persons with albinism. Just as the doctor said, that if not well protected and managed while you're still young, there's high chances of getting skin cancer. And that's why now we advise all persons with albinism at least every 3 months to go and check their skin, and if they find any precancerous cells, they can freeze them or they can give the treatment that may be needed. And always encouraging them to put on the wide-brimmed hats, long-sleeved clothing. I'm happy that Shalom School, they already allowed them Shalom to put on the long-sleeved uniform and wide-brim hat, and that's really what we're doing. And as organization, that's why we are giving free of charge these hats, the sunscreen lotions, and also moving with our doctors in different places to extend these services to them in order to mitigate skin cancer, because it's one of the #1 challenge to persons with albinism.
Thank you so much, and I will ask you, as a skin specialist, to pick that up and talk to us about how early can someone be diagnosed with skin cancer, especially for people living far away from the city centers. How easy is that, and how quickly can you establish that maybe the skin is beginning to develop the cancerous cells?
Thank you, Kusasra. So in persons living with albinism, one is that their skin changes from the sun damage. We call them solar keratoses. So they harden, and some people may think they are maybe normal things. Then over time, they graduate to become cancers. So the earliest time, but before that, is that when those features happen and they look like warts on them, they are hard.
Yes.
So actually, it is a transformation. They are transforming to skin cancer. Now, when those, we call them lesions, or those skin, I don't know how to call them, but they are called lesions. When they start to become red,
yes,
like wounds, they don't, at first they don't bleed easily. It means they are transforming into cancer. So the earliest time is, we don't have the earliest time, if I can say. It is any time from childhood to when someone is on earth. Every time they see anything on their skin, they have to run to a skin specialist for assessment.
Is there a stage where it can be reversed as soon as you notice them?
Now, yes. Those precancerous lesions, that means they before cancer, when we apply, we do cryotherapy. That is, we spray the liquid nitrogen, frozen liquid nitrogen. It is available in Uganda. Then we can also apply some imiquimod. It is also, but it's an expensive ointment on the market. It clears. But it has transformed into skin cancer. The good thing is that skin cancers in albinism, where they are still superficial, they are manageable.
Okay.
The management is department or in doctor's office. When they remove it, it does not extend to other parts of the body, because there are two types of cancers which are common. We call them squamous cell carcinoma and basal cell carcinoma. Those are the skin layers. But if they are left unattended to, then they extend to the other parts of the body, and that's where we don't want to go.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's good. These organizations are doing well. They are sending people to hospitals. But in those who are in remote settings, we receive them in bad shape. We've done some surgeries, but some we have to refer at the end of the day to Malago Cancer Institute, where it has gone beyond the skin for management.
Well, I just really wanted to ask you something, especially the fact that Peter here mentioned that they were managing it at home way before they were aware what it was. You, from where you're standing and your experience, what do you think should be done in a place where someone cannot easily access health centers, but they have a child like that? What is the first thing you have to do?
Okay, so from childhood, when a mother or the parents have learned that their child has been born with albinism, one, some may not know the information, but we always, now currently in medical schools, I think skin modules are being introduced, and that is one of them. So when a mother gives birth to a child, from childhood, they have to give them long-sleeved clothes, including the shirt and the trousers. Two, we encourage them to use two layered clothes. That means if it has the shirt, should have another one inside. And then wide brim hat is like what Peter is putting on. It protects the face, the neck. And then for those remote settings, we encourage them to use also sunscreen. That is, sunscreen is sun protective factor. It protects the sun from sun rays. So when they apply the sunscreen at the right time, that is in the morning, before the child is exposed to the sun, 15 minutes too, and then midday, when the sun is overhead, that is when the sun is more dangerous for any human being. They also apply any of the sunscreen, the exposed surface. Such a child is protected, and they rarely develop cancers, and they live a real good life. They can play with others, and that is the way they can do it from home. Yes.
I'll now talk to you, Peter, first about the myths that you have encountered, especially outside of your community. What are some of the myths that you've heard about this skin condition and would want to erase from history?
Wow, thank you so much for that question. Of course, there are a lot of myths due to most of the communities that we live in. They're not educated, or they have less knowledge about albinism. One of it, thinking that maybe if somebody gives birth to a child with albinism, maybe there is something wrong with that family. Others, they think that, persons with albinism don't see at night. They don't see at day, they see at night. It's a big myth. This is just because, as doctors say, that our retina do not have melanin, and it's really affect us to see. We really struggle to see. And as the Shalom, when we saw him, was trying to put something here so that he can see so well. Yes. And by that's even why I put on the hat. It helped to regulate the amount of the lights that comes to my eyes. So it's really false. We see just like, but we see with struggles. Then another myth is people think that persons with HIV, people with albinism cures other diseases like HIV, most especially the ladies.
I have not heard of that one.
It's really false myth, which is endangering our sisters wherever they are. It's very false. Other people think that there are certain food that we eat, which maybe, and we are not allowed to eat certain food like magadi and other things. I think these are all myths. Others even to the extent that they don't eat fish. I'm a fisherman. I grew up in Ireland. I grew up eating fish, and it has never affected me in any way.
Yes.
Other people think that albinism is a disease. This is just a genetic condition which can't limit me to be like another person. If somebody who's viewing me right now closes the eye may not see or understand that I have albinism, maybe if I've told you. So this means that albinism is just on my skin, but it doesn't comprises the entire Peter or geek. It's just part of me. Yeah.
I really like that. I like that, but then I'm shocked about how people actually run wild with their thoughts about this.
Yeah, we've seen here as I speak now, you find that most of our brothers and sisters in Amayingo, where the mine is taking place, there is a myth which is circulating that if you get the blood of persons with albinism, it gives you chance of digging fast to the gold. And this has given one of the sub-counties to transfer most of the children and persons with albinism from it for their safety. And others are really living in fear. So these are all myths. I think not thinking, but this is the truth. We as persons with albinism, we are just normal, just like anyone else. We get malaria, we get headache, just anything. Whatever you get is what also we get. So it's only our skin and maybe our appearance which may differ, but we are just normal like anyone else.
Richard, as a skin specialist, what more can you tell our audience? I'm sure they're also baffled, a few of them, like, what is that actually happening? But what more can you tell me and the audience in order to help us shift our mindset from that kind of behavior and, the beliefs and the distortions?
Thank you. What I can tell the public is that a person living with albinism is normal, 100%, and can perform any duties, only that with limitation, especially when sight is involved. The same level of intelligence, they can go to office, they can become doctors or engineers. And what we need to shift from is that about what Peter was emphasizing about myth. The more dangerous one that has been trending, although it is coming down, is about sacrificing a person living with albinism for witchcraft, for riches. That is not true. Riches come from work, from passion to work. They don't come from sacrifice. So the public need to understand that. And we also empower health workers anywhere in the world that support people living with albinism, especially. We have opticians where they have to come in, examine their eyes. Because the first person to confirm albinism is an optician or ophthalmologist. They work together. If they find out that the retina has no melanin, then it is confirmed. So they have to give them reading glasses. Then also from the public, the teachers have to support people living with albinism because they have to engage them in class, come closer, ask them if they are seeing well on the blackboards. Then also we appreciate the government because I've seen it that they give them extra time also during the national examination. And to the public is that when a person is born with albinism, let them be accommodated in the community. They are like any other person. And for parents is that let them visit health facilities as fast as possible, especially if there are skin changes, so that we stop the progression of any cancer. Thank you.
Clearly there has been support, even though we still have a lot of learning to do, and that is why we are here today, shedding light on albinism and what causes it. Why should you run away from someone in your community once you realize they have this skin condition? They are normal, as you heard from our skin specialist. So let's just be patient and be all-encompassing and supportive, compassionate. So how easy is it for Omuntu Awansi, someone living very, very deep in the village, to access screening for their skin? He talks about screening.
Thank you. Currently, through the albinism organizations, they have created a network, and they have gone ahead to put to GPRS codes on their families. And it is helping them to, since some health workers are not yet enlightened on the management, so they assist these organizations to link them to nearest facilities where they can get help. And also is that We are practicing some teledermatology with the organizations where we talk to, they take pictures, they send to us, we share, and we sometimes refer them to the nearest surgeons to do excision if it is possible. And also is that organizations are helping to extend like SPF sunscreens to them, wide brim hats, because we know that some may have some hats, but they may not be wide enough to do the right thing. Otherwise, it is possible to live with them amicably in the society, and they live a skin free of cancers.
I will let you, Peter, comment on that, and yes, about what the doctor is also talking about.
Just doctors saying that we are trying as much as we can to reach out to our brothers and sisters wherever they are with the skin cancer prevention mechanism by providing the sunscreen lotions to them, because there are those ones who can't even come to our offices. So like for example, we are trying every month, we try to go to 5 districts or different districts with these dermatologists to screen their skins, and in case we find those with precancerous cells which need surgeons, then still we take the pictures and we share with them, and they do the recommendations, or share with their surgeons to do the needful. Another challenge, I think one of the challenges that we are getting, that sometimes we are overwhelmed other NGOs to provide these things, and that's why we've been calling for a long time that government should be improvising these sunscreen lotions in health centers, so that we don't get overwhelmed. Because sometimes we reach to other members when cancer has eaten them, and yet, as we've heard, this cancer can be prevented if we have these services available to them. But also to increase the number of dermatologists.
Thank you very much,
because
Peter, you read my mind.
Imagine,
yes.
You read those numbers of persons with albinism, and now if you see the available numbers of dermatologists, really they can be overwhelmed. And being skin specialists, they're not there for only persons with albinism. Remember, they have to take the all millions of Ugandans with the skin condition. So I feel that there are few, we need them, we need more of them. Then another thing we saw as what we use to freeze the skin, the precancerous cells, is cryogun. But they're not enough, they're not that much many in our hospitals, so we need, I think, government also to increase or to put these machines in the hospitals, so that, imagine, person who is in Karamoja can access it in their health center, for somebody in Arua can access those services wherever they are. They shouldn't come to, to the city or to our facilities to get these things.
I like the fact that you bring out, you emphasize the call for more dermatologists.
Yes, exactly.
Because they get overwhelmed. I saw pictures of you earlier with your, I believe, siblings.
They're not siblings, but these are the people whom will provide the services. I think earlier, doctor was speaking to certain types of albinism, and these are the types of albinism that he was mentioning. You find the right one is ochre one, without melanin in the eye, skin, and the hair. Then you see the other ones, you see their level of melanin is very small compared to the first one, but these are all types of albinism that we do have within our communities.
Does the sun affect them in a similar manner, or they are different?
Thank you. Of course not, because when you see the first picture on the right, from my side, is that they have reduced color or less on their skin and their eyes, so they are more affected than the ones on the left, because these ones have more melanin on their skin. So the only issue about is the eyes for the left side, and for the right side is both the eyes and the skin. So they affect the OCA2, OCA1 and OCA2, they're affected more.
Okay. So is there anything in particular that they need to eat in order to become maybe stronger in melanin?
Not really, because we learned that, or we understood that it is genetical. So genetics means someone is born with it, and it's something that is attached to genetics cannot change. Okay. Maybe if there are manipulations at some level, which is not possible now. So they eat like any other person, and that's what I can say.
So on screen we have, I believe, Peter's parents.
Yeah, those are my parents, my dad and mom, which clearly indicates that that it's so hard. Normally people give birth to children with albinism. Two black parents are the ones who give birth to a child with albinism. So that's my dad and mom. And I think it's creating awareness in the community that yeah, we just need to be kind to one another, because you never know who's next to give birth to a child with albinism. So in case you're discriminating somebody there, you never know what you're carrying within you. And also, also to add on it that we as persons with albinism, we are there. If we're given enough support that we need, we can impact our communities positively.
So Peter, is there anything else you would want to let our viewers know?
Yes, I want our viewers to understand that we as persons with albinism, we are people just like anyone else. Let's together, as we've got some facts about albinism, create awareness, the general population, and stop the stigma. And also I want to encourage the fellow persons with albinism. Yes, believe in yourselves. You can be whatever you want. Your skin, your appearance can't limit you to achieve whatever things that you want to achieve. And to our government, always to address our needs. I know if we are supported, we'll be productive to our country as well.
All right, thank you so much, Peter. Let's wind up with Richard, our skin specialist. And this one is going to be about how the rest of us should take care of our skin. Should we run in the sun because we have melanin or what?
Thank you. Melanin protects us, and we see less skin cancers in the African population. That means people living with who have melanin, that is the black population. Though caring about the skin means eating well, drinking enough water. We are also supposed to use the wide brim hats like another person.
Speaking about it, and the sunscreen.
And the sunscreen, if it is affordable, the issue is affordability. Mm-hmm. And also smearing ourselves with some oil which is compatible, not bleaching our skins. Yes. That's what I can say about skin care.
All right, thank you so much for bringing it out, for actually reminding us that it's important to also use sunscreen even though you're not living with the condition of albinism. So it's really been a pleasure having you, gentlemen. It was really, really nice having this conversation, and I believe that our viewers out there who had questions may have understood to a degree. In case you didn't, you can still store some of your questions. We shall have these conversations over and over and over again here on NTV Medical Matters. Today it was albinism, and next time it will be something else, but we shall keep you in the loop of everything happening. Thank you very much once again for watching and staying here with us. I am Viola Sasia, NTV Medical Matters, supported by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.